intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly. With me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, brother?
Let's go. Doing fantastic, brother, on this Wednesday, halfway through the week, hump day. And looking forward to the second half, man. We got fights back on. We are back on track, back on road, baby. And I'm excited to be here, brother. Let's go.
Go, baby. I'm excited, man. We had, a little week off of the MMA fights. Luckily, we had Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. We also had Karate Combat, for those of you that watch. Pretty solid fights, if I'm being completely honest. They did a little bit of grappling in the pit beforehand. Craig Jones was there. Who? Craig Jones. Nice. The vibes. And then we also had Luke Rockhold coming in there in the main event, getting the first knockout in quite some time. What up, Mad Max Meridian in the chat?
Yo.
And also, what up, Tico Tech? What up, ADHG MMA? We are so happy you guys are all able to join. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. So, in tonight's episode, we are breaking down UFC Vegas 91. My gosh. I wonder if they're going to do something special for UFC Vegas 100.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Maybe they open up the stadium a little bit. I don't know. They got to do something, I'm not mad
at it. And they're also doing the first WWE event ever in the Apex coming up in, I think, a week or two.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I might be wrong on the date, but I know they just recently announced that they are definitely going to do a WWE event at the Apex. So
nice.
They're getting a hell of a lot of use out of that building, huh?
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, keep pumping it up. I mean, yeah, this Apex is definitely used now as a staple. These fight nights, we definitely talk about them often. We can't always get the big pay-per-views, the big massive 300 cards like that. Not all of them are stacked with champions and Hall of Famers. So until then, we're going to have a lot of these types of cards who very exciting. A little bit of change at the main event there. Our boy Alex Perez, absolute dog, taking this on short notice. But other than that, man, you look through and through, this is a pretty good card coming off 1 week layoff here.
Absolutely. We had a little 1 week layoff. And again, as you mentioned, we do have a short notice fight. Alex Perez is taking this fight on short notice against Mateus Nicolau. It was originally slated to be Mateus Nicolau versus Manel Kape, a.k.a. the motherfucking star boy. That would have been a really fun fight. But if I'm being completely honest with you here, Nano, I mean, call me crazy. Call me a jive turkey. But I think this is actually a better main event, man. I think this is actually going to be a bit of a better scrap. As long as Alex Perez was in training, which he seems like the type of guy to never really take any time off, to always stay ready so that he does not have to get ready, right? So with that being said, I think this is probably going to end up being a bit of a better situation for us. So curious to get your thoughts on that. Were you more excited about Manel Kape in this main event, or are you now more excited to see Alex Perez here?
I think the style of fight I was expecting to see with the Manel Kape, someone that was looking to avenge himself against a loss previously to Mateus Nicolau. I was looking forward to that matchup stylistically, but like you mentioned, an Alex Perez, someone who's a staple in the division, who has been around for a few years now and always answers the bell and always looks good. And like you mentioned, is not necessarily a weight bully. So when it comes to someone that can take the call on a short notice. I'm not surprised that our boy Alex Perez here is staying ready because he doesn't have to get ready. Love that. So I do think that it ended up working out probably in the favor of us fans for sure. It'll be a fun 5-round fight. You should expect Alex Perez to be there the entire time. Where Manel Cop, that's TBD, right? We don't know if we would have seen a full 25 from him. And that would have been Mateos's probably his advantage on that. So I'm liking it, man. This is a fun one. A lot of implications too, brother, as I like to say around here. I mean, this division,
I was waiting for
a lot of it's iffy right now, for lack of a better word. It's just there's injuries, there's people tied up. Pantoja's just been calling for someone, and it seems he's going to be fighting number 10, Steve Earsig, potentially here for the up and coming title. I mean, I don't think I've seen that in a long time. Do you have any other thoughts there?
McGregor's featherweight run, huh?
I was going to say, do you have any other thoughts there around something like that, or where the division's at? And again, big implications here moving forward for the winner.
I'm not mad at it. I do think that there maybe were one or two better options than a Steve Ersig to be fighting for the title upcoming. But, I might throw down a couple of units on the guy from The Office. He's a freaking stud. The dude, he puts it together really nicely. He's got a nice flow. I'm a Matt Schnell fan. I'm a Matt Schnell stan. Got the autographed card back on the wall behind me. Shout out Drew. Appreciate you.
Drew.
And he went out there and he put that guy away. He also put away pretty much everybody else that he fought. So I think this could be something that proves to be in his favor, because there's not a ton of UFC tape on this guy yet, right? And that proves to be a problem. Whereas his opponent that he's fighting, on a tape on that guy. And as you said, because we have number 10 fighting for the title, a lot of implications on this one, man. Ton of implications on this one as far as whoever wins. Jumping into the first fight of the night that we're going to break down, we're just going to do a quick run through of the entire card, pass it back and forth. There will be fights that we might spend like 1 minute on, minute and a half. There might be other fights that we spend 15 to 20 minutes on. Not all fights are created equal. Neither are all fight cards. So jumping into the very first fight of the night, we've got Gabriel Benitez coming in against Hayasar Mahashate. Nano, I'm going to let you take the lead here, brother. Who do you have in this one? And before you jump in, just got to do a quick shout out to the folks in the chat. Again, Mad Max Meridian, Tico Tech LLC, and ADHD MMA. I know it's past your bedtime, ADHD. We freaking appreciate the hell out of you guys being here.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Always
love it, man.
To see the boys.
Got the whole squad. That's what it's all about, right? Building the community here. Just the guys being dudes, right? That's what it's all about. And gals, we welcome y'all with open arms. But yeah, man, excited to jump in here. And thank you for taking the lead, at least in regards to the name part of things. Thank you for taking that on, because I was waiting to see. You didn't leave me out there to dry like a good co-host would there. So yeah, Gabriel Benitez squaring off, 35 years old. He is the underdog, 23-11, very decorated background. He has a lot of experience here. He's been in the UFC for 10 years. He's a savvy veteran, 9 KOs, 10 submissions. Dude's extremely well-rounded, very high finishing rate. But man, 7-7 with some of those losses. Now, I know that record sounds maybe less than ideal, but some of those losses were just some really tough guys, okay? We're talking about a Andre Touchy-Feely. We're talking about a Sadiq Yusuf, ranked fighter here in the division, and then a Jim MF. Well, this isn't rated G. Motherfucking Miller. Man, that's tough. That's just tough billing, tough sledding for our boy here. Gabriel, 7 of his last fights have ended in a finish. That's interesting for me to see there from a betting perspective. He is also 1-3 in his last 4 outings. Frankly, he needs this one. It's a must win for boy Gabriel. Can he get it done against someone who is tougher than his name is spelled here? Maya Shate. I think I messed it up. Gosh darn it. Maya Shate. Is that Shate? Maya Shate. Hayasair. 24 years young, 9-3, 4 KOs, 1 sub. He is the -200 favorite here. He won on his Dana White Contender Series debut, KO, put him out, but he was coming off back-to-back losses. So again, he absolutely needs this as well at this stage in his career. you got to build a name for yourself, and going on 3 losses as you're trying to make that name not ideal. That's not how you stick around. He did most recently get TKO'd also. All in which to say, I'm going to take the young gun. I'm going to ride the young bull here. I'm going to take the betting favorite. I think Vegas is seeing what I'm seeing, and that's the younger, hungrier fighter, someone who doesn't have as much tread on those tires. And I don't think this goes to a decision. Wouldn't be surprised if the fight kicks off with a finish. What are you thinking, brother? And I do think that my Shate is going to win, and that is who my Shate is on Saturday.
You love to see it. You love to hear it. Yeah, man. Mahashate he's an absolute stud. He is an absolute beast, and he's currently sitting at a minus 198 favorite. Now, I think the biggest thing to pay attention to and the biggest thing to note here, Nano, in my humble opinion, is this. He's 6 feet tall. He's a fucking lightweight. That's a big ass dude. I feel like
that's slender man. Jeez.
Yeah, very large guy. Now, that being said, Gabriel Benitez has trained ad nauseum at AKA. So, he's got a solid takedown game. And also, his leg kicks are going to be vast and going to be strong. They're going to be there at high velocity, high output. We've seen the guy literally bust his leg open throwing leg kicks and continue throwing leg kicks. Blood splashed, I believe, on John Anik's shirt that day from the leg kicks. So, guys, if there's anything you know about me, it's that I love an underdog. And I'm not mad at a plus 164 dog here. I also am not mad at the under, but I don't think I like under 1.5. Like, fight to not go the distance, that's more likely. But under 1.5, I still feel kind of iffy about that. So not going to pick those up. And we don't have a line on the over 2.5 here for this one. So yeah, give me Benitez. I haven't decided if I'm going to put anything on him just yet. But just to put it into perspective, guys, if you did put 1 unit on him, you'd get about 2.6 units back. Not a bad return for this dog. And might have to revisit this one. I'll let you know here at the end of the show if I end up putting a little bit of change on him. Moving into the next one, we got Ivana Petrovic coming in against Na Yilang. Right? Did that one get canceled or is that one just still on? Yes. Na Yilang. This should be a fun fight. I feel like it's fairly evenly matched. The only difference is, obviously if you look at age, you look at the build, they're fairly close, like a 3-inch reach difference here, as well as height difference and a 2-year age difference. So again, very, very fairly close. But then you look at their records. You have one woman that's sitting at 6-1, and the other is sitting heftily at 19-7. That just feels a bit wild to me, right? Like, there's a vast difference in the number of fights that these women have had. Nano, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like, how do you feel whenever matches like this are made when somebody has literally like almost 3 times the number of fights as the other person they're going in there against?
It's interesting, right? Because not only is that person going in with maybe triple the experience, but they do also have 2 yet less years on this planet of Earth that I know of, at least according to the record books. So that in itself is pretty crazy. I guess when I typically see that, and what I did notice when I was looking at her resume a little bit more, her being Na Liang, is that she has a lot of experience, but it is not in the octagon. It is not in the UFC, I should specify. And that scares me a little bit because what I have seen in the UFC has been nothing short of a tough go. Okay. 3 fight losing streak. So being busy is one thing, and maybe beating up on, let's just call it for lack of a better word, maybe just lesser opponents. Maybe she was someone that really dominated in her local scene and just didn't have a lot of MMA talent around her. that can be something that happens. As someone that played sports, California, Northern Bay Area, very highly competitive place, but you could go to certain areas and maybe it's just not so competitive. You could be that person that stands out. So I think it's one of those situations, and certainly looking at the odds here with the Ivana being a minus 470 favorite, I'm going to assume that they're seeing what I'm seeing, and that is a fighter in Na, who unfortunately, out of the last few fights, again, has been finished, but she does have that high finish rate as well. I think she always has that puncher's chance. However, someone like an Ivana Petrovic, who's 29 years old, low record, but she does have 5 of the 6 wins are by finish. She did lose in her UFC debut against Luana Carolina, but she looked tough. She earned some stripes, and at least maybe from the bettors and someone like myself, at least earned enough respect to say, okay, I'll put my shot. I'll put my money where my mouth is here. Well, maybe not literally, because I'll probably leave it off of the betting perspective. Minus 500 is a bit steep, so don't quote me there, ladies and gentlemen. But I am going to lean Ivana as my pick here, probably by decision. What are you thinking, brother?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning similar. I think Ivana, just in general, I don't know if I would go by decision necessarily, just because Ivana in the past actually has a 50% knockout rate and a 33% submission rate. So only 17% of her wins, aka one of them, has come by way of decision. Though the person she's going in there against, Dragon Girl Na Liang, she is tough. She's also only ever lost 1 decision. She's been knocked out 4 times. She's been submitted twice. In her last 3, all 3 have been finishes within the first 2 rounds. I mean, I don't think she's been gifted any fights, right? Ariane Carnelozzi is pretty tough. Silvana Juarez, also pretty tough. But again, like, these aren't like marquee names either. So I think the toughest person that she's fought is probably like JJ Aldrich, and that fight didn't go her way, obviously, either. She got knocked out with 1 second left in the second round. Got the stoppage there. Did JJ Aldrich via ground and pound. I actually think Ivana probably goes out there and gets this done. I could actually see her realistically pulling off another ground and pound knockout, similar to the way that she did a while back over Dorota Norek over at Aries FC3. I believe you can watch that on Fight Pass. But again, I think that she goes out there and probably gets it done via finish. Am I going to put any money on her? Absolutely not. She's a minus 470. Maybe I'll do like the, like a fifth of a unit on the all Vegas favorites parlay like we used to do, just for funsies. Sprinkle a little bit on that and see what happens. That's good to hit like once a year, I think. So we'll see. We'll see if this is that once. But yeah, give me Ivana in this one. I think it's pretty cut. And also, if you go over to a very trusted website, in my opinion, Tapology.com, 1,885 community members voted on this, and only 6% of them have Liang winning this fight. 94% people think that Petrovic wins. 48.7% think by decision with Nano. And then, obviously, we have the rest of them going by finish. So 19% of people think it's going to be a sub by Petrovic, and then 32.3% are in the minority with your boy thinking it's going to be a knockout. So we will go ahead and jump on into the next fight. The next fight is James Lontop coming in against Chris Padilla. This one is another interesting one, right? We have 2 lightweights coming in here. Very, very similar in size as far as the reach. A little bit of a height difference here. 5'9" on the side of Chris Taco Padilla, and 6 feet tall for James Goku Lontop. Something tells me you're probably going to go for Goku in this one. Yeah, Nano?
I was going to say, Goku, find out of Peru. How do you not, brother? He's going to have that dog in him. And stylistically, man, James Lontop looks like a fun fighter. He's big. He uses that 6 feet to his advantage, although his opponent, Chris Padilla, has the neutralizer in terms of the heavy hands, but also the reach advantage as well. Oddly enough, being at 5'9", I did find that a little interesting. His ape index is through the roof. This guy's built to be a fighter, but he is making his UFC debut, he being Chris Padilla. So that is one thing that worries me a little bit here in this matchup. I'm going to leave my boy James on top, Goku. I'm going with Goku, and mostly because of that reason. But I do think it's backed up by his skills as well. He does have 7 KOs under his belt, does have 1 submission as well. But he uses his length well, and he's a violent fighter that does throw good leg kicks. And I think he'll find a way to get through a tough dog in front of him in Chris Padilla coming out of Gardenia, California.
Nice breakdown, Nano. Just going to top it off a little bit there. So Chris Taco Padilla is actually on a 3-fight winning streak. He is coming off of 3 back-to-back-to-back finishes. Sorry, excuse me. Still getting over that darn cold. My goodness. So again, he's coming off of 3 back-to-back finishes. So he finished LJ Porte via KO in the very first round. He got a win over Sarab Manassian in the 3rd round via rear naked choke, and Justin James in the round 2. Excuse me.
Take your medicines. This is allergy season as well. Take your allergy pills, all y'all out there. Take care of yourself. You don't want to be like this guy. Nah, just kidding.
Oh my gosh. I definitely got the crud, whatever the heck is going around. So, as I said, he is on a 3-fight winning streak, is Chris Taco Padilla. But standing across from him is a very, very game, very, very streak-heavy James Goku on top. Now, this guy has not been defeated since 2019, and he's had a lot of fights since then. Very well-rounded as far as finishes versus decisions. And I think this is going to be no different. I think Goku goes out there and gets it done via Spirit Bomb in probably the 2nd round. So people, give him your strength. Not that I think he will need it in this fight. I think I'm going to agree with the 95% of the people that voted on this fight on Tapology and go with Goku. Next one, Ketlin Souza coming in against Marnik Man. Nano, take the lead on this one so I can take a sip of water and hopefully recover. My God.
I got you, brother. Happily will do so. Marnik Man coming in here, 31 years old, 6-2 record, 3 KOs, 1 submission. She is the underdog. Fine out of Montana. I think the reason why she's underdog here, she did lose her UFC debut, so she is looking to bounce back here, get into the winners column, get some respect on her name. She doesn't even have a picture on ESPN. Come on, y'all. Get with the program. Outside of that, she's going to be coming in here. Although she is 3 inches shorter than her opponent, she will be coming in with a 1-inch reach advantage. Love to see that. Will she be able to use that to her advantage? We will see. Because she is going up against a dog in Ketlin Souza, 29 years young, 13-4 record, 8 KOs, 1 submission, -330 favorite. Also lost in her UFC debut, but don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. She is an absolute hungry junkyard dog, ready to go out there, put her skills out to display, and show why she is the favorite to win.
We're falling apart, bro. We're falling apart. All right, we're picking it back up. I got a cough drop in mouth and a mic in hand. Let's go. Ketlin Souza coming in against Marlik Man. Man, I didn't mean to rhyme that with the mic in hand, but I digress. Here we are. Looking at the Vegas odds for this one, Marnik Man is a +275 dog right now. Okay. Probably for good reason. You know, she has paths to victory in this fight, but if you slice it down the middle and you look right at it, Ketlin Souza just has way more experience here. I will tell you, if I was voting based solely on nicknames, I would have to go with Marnik Man, the Sawed Off Savage. It's just such a great nickname, the Sawed Off Savage. I'm gonna attempt to say Ketlin Souza's nickname. I think it's Esquintadinha. And I think that's what it is. Don't know what it means. It sounds beautiful. So yeah, 91.5% of the people that voted out of 1,830 on Tapology Community Picks thinks that this is going to go to decision by way of Souza. I'm with him. Souza is very, very game. If you look at her record, she's fighting out of Brazil. Her only loss in the UFC is to Karine Silva, who, I mean, she's an absolute beast, right? She's fighting much higher on the card for a reason as well. We will go over her fight in the very near future. So, I mean, having a loss to her is not the worst thing you can have on your record. There are definitely worse names to lose to. And before that, she was coming off of back-to-back wins via decision in Invicta, which is arguably the best women's mixed martial arts organization outside of the UFC, in my humble opinion. So, I think Ketlin Souza definitely has the better resume here. And I think she's going to, I mean, she should be able to take this one fairly handily. There's just not a lot that we know about Marnique Mann. But I will say, like, having a loss to Bruna Brazil, not the worst person to have a loss to, right? On the Contender Series. And then after that, she came back, had a bounce back win, unanimous decision over Amber Brown over at LFA. Another very respectable promotion. But then her UFC debut, as you said, she lost to Josephine Knudsen. Man, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? It's a tough break sometimes. Maybe the bright lights got to her. Maybe it's just the caliber of opponent. I think we'll find out on Saturday night, and I think we'll be right when it comes to Esquintadinha Ketlin Souza.
I did look that up, and that means hot-headed. So she's a feisty one, isn't she?
She definitely is. I would say that that's a pretty accurate and apropos nickname. So, moving into the next preliminary fight. Oh, we have one of our favorites on this podcast, Dontel Mays. We've lost money on this guy, I think, every time he's fought. Not today, Satan. We're not putting anything on this guy. I'm not betting on him, not betting against him. And wouldn't you know, they're at flat odds. We got minus 105 for Dontel Mays and minus 118 for Chao Machado. I'm going to be honest. I got no heat on this. I got no skin on this. I'm going to say Chao to this fight. I think it's going to be a fairly back and forth, not one-way traffic, just back and forth, lightweight, boring, heavyweight fight. Lightweight, boring, heavyweight. Low-key, boring, heavyweight fight. That's better. I think it's going to be a low-key, boring, heavyweight fight. Bit of a grindhouse out there. And if Dontel Mays wins, good for him. I just won't be betting on him. Nano, you got any heat on this one?
Love that breakdown. First off, apologize to everybody. I know Matt Max giving us crap for our allergies and the black lung. But no, man, this is an exciting one. Kicking off the main card here, I believe, unless this is the main, or no, is this the prelim main event? Did I get this one wrong? Maybe I'm off. Are we already that far ahead?
No, dude, we still have 3 fights left on the prelims. What are you doing?
Oh, I was so excited. Dontel Mays here, man. My apologies. But yeah, and hey, 2 heavyweights slanging and banging. I was going to say that was my whole lead and was like, I think they know what they were doing. It's because these guys are going to go out there. Heavyweights do nothing but headhunt. You know, might be slow at times. There may be some slow exchanges. And from a betting perspective, Dontel Mays is not someone you want to necessarily root for or against because he's 4-4 and 1. It's just about split down the middle as you can possibly be. And since his Dana White Contender Series in 2019, just been really tumultuous. You've seen some great, you've seen some not so good. Kind of leaves a little bit to be desired, especially when he's so gosh darn big. I mean, he is 6'6", just an absolute behemoth of a man. 60% of his wins are by knockout. So he truly has that one punch power, just has not really adapted or built upon those skills yet in terms of grappling or adding new strikes. You're just not really seeing a bunch of adaptations, which is why you're seeing both of these guys minus odds. So it's essentially a pick 'em, but I am going to lean the new shiny toy here in Caio Machado. One thing that stood out to me with Bigfoot here was his Sherdog picture, holding up 3 belts, I believe, from his Vancouver days in Canada. at the BFL or Battlefield Fight League. So my assumption there is maybe he's a tweener. Maybe he's like fought at different weight classes. But either way, to have any belts in any organization is a good feat, and tells me that he actually does have some pretty good striking skills, which again, his opponent, Dontel Mays, is a bit one-dimensional. Just avoid the nuclear, powerful right hand. But I do think Kyle will have that ability. 29 years young, 8-2 record, 4 KOs, 2 submissions. So he's well-rounded. He can get it done wherever it needs to go. So I'm going to lead in on Chow or Kaio. I'll say Chow to Dontel Mays here, as we got a new contender and a shiny new toy in the heavyweight division.
Love that, and I will definitely follow your lead on that one. Yep, we'll fade Dontel Mays. Going into the next one, probably one of the more exciting fights on this entire fight card, in my humble opinion. We got Austin Hubbard, tough alum, coming in against Michal Figlak. This one is going to be a banger. Mark my words. I just have a feeling, guys. Austin Hubbard's nickname is Thud. You know why that nickname is his nickname? Because that's what you hear when you're fighting him. Just a thud across that head. So, I mean, you can expect fireworks. You can expect crazy striking. And you can expect a virtually identical matchup here, guys, other than age, right? We have a 27-year-old coming in against a 32-year-old. Both men stand 5'10". We have a 71-inch reach versus 70-inch reach. Austin Hubbard having the 1-inch reach advantage here. 70% of the folks out of 1,882 that voted on Tapology believe Figlak is going to win. And if you ask Vegas, they'll give you dog odds on our guy Hubbard. So might have to throw some skrill on Austin Hubbard here. Why? Well, I'll tell you. So Austin Hubbard, fighting out of Elevation Fight Team. His only loss in recent years is to Kurt Holobaugh. Now, I say recent years. He also has lost in like 2021, but I mean like in the last 3 years, right? Last 2-3 years. So he's had 4 wins in that same amount of time, and lost to the Hurt Holobaugh. Kurt Holobaugh is a freaking monster. Okay, he's an absolute monster. You know this. I know this. We all know this. So that's not a crazy loss to have on your record. His opponent is 8-1, right? Again, we're talking about guys that have half the fight record, half the professional career as their opponent. Because Austin Thud Hubbard has a 15-7 career. So he has more than double the amount of fights as this man. And also, Faraz Zayam was able to come out there and get a unanimous decision win over Michal Figlak. I just truly think that if Faraz was able to get it done, my guy Hubbard is definitely going to be able to get it done. Just want to shout out to whoever invented cough drops real quick. That person is definitely a real one. If I had a if I had a time machine, I would go back in time and thank them. Mad Max Meridian said in the chat, the Smith brothers were the makers of the first cough drops produced and advertised in the United States, becoming one of the most famous brands in the country in its day. Baller.
Wow. Look at
Baller.
that. Learn something new. Fun fact,
Back in
y'all.
1872. What a damn fine year. We learned something new about the year 1872. Wouldn't you know?
Let's go.
So
that's what we bring to the table, y'all.
Other than that fun fact, Nano, who you got, Hubbard or Figlak?
Yeah, man. I mean, appreciate your sentiments, and I'm going to stick with our boy Thud. Okay, the guy that we fell in love with on The Ultimate Fighter. Got to stick with our boy Austin Hubbard. I do think this is a good matchup for him stylistically. Our boy Michal or Michael with no E in there. Figlak looked good at times. He's, someone that had moments against a Faraz Ziam, but man, Faraz was able to go out there and take care of business. He is a dog. Don't get it twisted. Faraz Ziam will kill you smile. He is a smile killer. That's exactly what he did to Figlak. And unfortunately, I think Austin Hubbard's going to do the same thing. One thing with Austin and what you did see, even though he did lose against our boy Kurt Holobaugh, and that was unfortunately his last outing I do think maybe getting some time to, what would you say, to get healthy, right? Coming off of the Ultimate Fighter show, that takes a lot out of you. You're fighting nonstop. You're fighting through injuries, literally. So I think for him coming off that loss, although wasn't ideal, hey, you take the time to get healthy, do what you got to do. And I do think this will be a great outing for him to clean the palate a little bit. And yeah, man, hopefully find a finish on and make a statement. That's really what he needs to do here. Make a statement. The thing with Austin that I like about Mr. Thud is that he goes out there and he'll win by volume. He's willing to stick in the pocket. He's tough as nails. You're not going to get him out of there easy. And what he will do is he'll stick around and find the mark at some point. So give me our boy Austin Thud Hubbard, baby.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I also agree with Mad Max Meridian again in the chat here. He said, don't know much about old Figlock, but he got some tree trunks on him from his picture on the UFC site. He absolutely does. Dude is he's thick. He's very thick. But I'll tell you, man, Austin Hubbard, exactly what Nano said. He's a volume fighter. And I think that he will wilt his opponent in front of him. I think he will turn Mad Dog into a sad dog on Saturday. Come for the breakdowns, stay for the bad jokes. So moving into the next one, we got Hani Yahya. That's a really, really good fighter fighting out of Brazil, Hani Yahya. And we have Victor Henry, just an absolute beast of a man. Obviously fought some freaking beasts, right? He's fought Raoni Barcelos. He's fought Rafael Assunção, Tony Gravely, Albert Morales. His opponent, though, Hani Yahya, has also fought, in my opinion, a decent little who's who since coming to the UFC. Was actually supposed to fight Cody Garbrandt, not once but twice that fight got canceled, was Hani Yahya. Now, in the UFC, he has fought Johnny Bedford, Joe Soto, Henry Briones, Luke Sanders, Cool Hand Luke, Ricky Simone, Hyung Ho Kang. I mean, both of these guys have definitely strung together a record, but when it comes to Hani Yahya, it's been a bit of a tough ride, in my opinion, right? I mean, for both of these guys, right? Like, they haven't had the easiest roads. Both of them have had up and down battles since making it to the UFC. Now, when you look at Victor Henry, he's 2-1 in the UFC. Had a canceled bout against Javid Basharat. When he's in there, he does actually look really strong. Is able to chain his wrestling together with his striking. He's what I would call like a very well-rounded fighter. Like, if you're playing the UFC game and there's like striker, grappler, balanced, he's balanced. He's just a balanced fighter, right? Pretty average at everything. Doesn't like superiorly excel at the striking or the grappling, but he's decent at both. Hani Yahya, when you look at what he does, he's not a striker. He's never going to fool you into making you think that he's a striker ever. Like, never, ever. But he will submit you, and that's what he does. So that's why 21 of his 28 wins have come by way of submission finish. So how would I bet in this one? I don't know, man. It's really tough, to be honest with you. I think that this one has potential to go back and forth, just because Yahya always has a chance to sub you. But gun to my head, give me Victor Henry in this one. I think he'll probably grind it out and get a grindy-windy decision here. Before I pass it off, let's see what Mad Max said in the chat. Stud grappler Yahya kind of goes without saying, but I'm saying it anyway. Mangosta has way more tools he brings to the table. Just not sure if any of them are as sharp as the singular one Hani offers. I completely agree. Completely agree. So La Mangosta is obviously Victor Henry. If you didn't catch that. Yeah, I'm going Victor Henry in this one, like I said. Nano, who you got?
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid, brother. I'm definitely gonna agree with you on this one. We're riding the same wave here. I'm riding your coattails, shaking to your bake, and that's for a couple of reasons. But before I give Victor Henry his props and why I do think he's gonna win here, Hani Yahya, man, an absolute OG of the game, and he is a good example of kind of the classic fighter, okay, old school fighter in the sense that he's a specialist. Like he does what he does better than most people, okay, and that is get you to the ground and rip your limbs apart, okay. 28 wins, 21 of them by submission. Unfortunately, he's just never fully developed in other areas. That's probably why he's not in the same conversation of other guys that we love and adore, Jim Miller or Bobby Green or Cowboy, some of these guys that have been around the block. Because let's call it what it is, man. This guy, Hani, been in the UFC for 14 years. You mentioned some of the people he squared off against, Chad Mendes being one of them. He even beat the one, the only, and back then he wasn't coach, but I'm talking about Coach Mike Thomas Brown, baby. Come on. I mean, this guy has been in there with them all. Coaches now. We're talking about coaches. 14-5-2 record. Only lost the high-level competition is Hani Yahya. Unfortunately, that's what Victor Henry is. I mean, if you're looking up high-level competition, Victor Henry might be alongside with many others, but he certainly is in that conversation. He is in that community. Victor, find out of LA, Cali, baby. Come on, we out here. Let's go. Got that Cali swag. You out here, boy? Don't buck with us. Sorry, I digress. Short stint in the UFC, but a lot of octagon, a lot of ringside experience. He's 36 years old, which kind of surprised me, man. They age like a fine wine out here. But 2-1-1, and his only loss in the UFC is to a Rafael Assunção, who, like you mentioned, is a dog. Okay, he's a tough older Brazilian, which is what he's going to have to go out there and slay the demon again. Hopefully he can get it done, but I'm confident Victor Henry has the skills, has a little bit more of the youth, a little more tread on those tires. And like our boy Mad Max is making us feel here, a little bit more, a little bit of an advantage when it comes to a well-rounded skill set. So sign me up, baby. It's going to be a fun one. And I do believe this actually is the prelim main event. Y'all, I do declare. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are under oath.
I'm under oath. I can't be wrong twice, Diana. I do declare.
I do declare you are correct, sir.
Let's go.
Do you like pool parties, miss?
I speak the whole truth, nothing but the truth about a vow.
Brother killed it right now. And with that being said, you know, I think it might be time for a shot. You know, let's go ahead.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
For the main event.
The main card of the evening. And I mean, honestly, the main card opener here is a really solid one, in my humble opinion, man.
You know what
Dirty Bird means? What's on good
Dirty
fight?
Bird? Well, and you know what? It's in the Apex. Are we going to get, I don't know if we're going to get our boy Bruce. We're going to get the other homeboy.
He's actually done a couple of them. He's done a couple of Apex cards.
Okay.
It depends on if like Muskie Boy shows up or the Zohan, the Zuck. What the Zuckerberg, dude?
The Zuck. Dude, do you
Zuck?
like the other like guy that does them? The make some noise or Las Vegas, are you ready?
Make some noise if you
viewers watching around the world.
Ready.
You are ready. Do you like that? Do you like his little
Joe Martinez?
Joe Martinez? Yeah. Okay.
You thought I wouldn't know that guy's name? Yeah.
Respect. I mean, you got it down, baby. You got to get Joe Martinez. Come on.
Thanks, brother. I pride myself on my impressions.
Oh, bro, you got elite status there. I've always been fond of your impressiones. But yeah, brother.
You'll be hearing them in person very soon, bro.
Yes, can't fucking wait. On the beaches, por la playa. I am ready. I think the reason why I think it's funny is it reminds me of SpongeBob a little bit. If you pitch him up a couple notches.
Mexico, make some noise if you are ready.
For some mojitos.
Have you write out the boys' names? I'll do announcements for them.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
You're like, who do you want? Do you want Bruce or
some
do you want
walkout music? Yeah. we got some options. We got both buffers if you need them. Let's get ready to rumble.
You want to do that one? Michael
we can do them all. Either buff.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I love it. We get a little sidetracked. We gotta have a little bit of extras in here.
Have a little bit of fun. And what Mad Max just threw in the chat is a fucking fact, folks. It's a fact, folks. It's a fun fact, folks. This is an early card. It starts at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Does the preliminary card, and the main card starts at 4 p.m. So, good times, folks. Also, just want to do a quick shout out. Happy birthday to the homie Ki. Yes, his actual name is Kiai, which is fucking amazing. And it's his birthday. So happy birthday, dude. Hope
happy birthday, brother. Absolutely, man. Hope all is well.
That last shot was for you, bro.
Let's go.
So moving into this next one, like I said, we have Tim the Dirty Bird Means coming in against Urosh, the Doctor Medic. This is going to be a fun cracker of a fight, guys. But I digress. I'm going to let the co-host jump into it first. I feel like I've been steamrolling here. Nano, you got winning this one.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I was looking at my DraftKings here to look at the odds because I'm liking this one, brother. I'm liking this one a lot. Leading off the main event here a little earlier, it sounds like as well. We got our boy Tim, the Dirty Bird Means, and you know he means a business, okay? Another decade-long UFC fighter, 13-10 record. No, that doesn't sound great. But he was on a 6-fight win streak at one point. Dude has all the makings of just an absolute dog. Okay, he's not someone you want to mess with, and he looks like an average Joe, so even more scary. Or if you see him on the street, he means a business. Okay, he's beaten the guys of a Micah Perry, who he's a bare knuckle legend now. Mike Perry, that aged like a fine wine, and his opponent coming up soon, Thiago Alves, another beast, dude that I used to love playing with on the early UFC games. Personal favorite of mine in the early days of UFC. Nicholas Dalby, another absolute savage. And most recently, Andre Fiallo, who I think we've kind of realized isn't as great as maybe people thought he was going to be. So that one, not so much.
That's right to tell you. That's right to tell you.
You were at a bone. So how much does Tim Means have left, right? I mean, that's my only thing at 40 years old, 33-15 record. That's 48 fights. It's more fights than he's been living. 20 KOs, 5 subs. He's the plus 250 dog here. It's an interesting one. And man, what are the odds that Max mentioned here? Under 2.5, minus 175, excuse me, ain't too shabby. I do like that a lot. And that would be where I would lean here. Both of these guys are finishers. And our boy Uros, the Doctor Medic, fine out of Alaska, is no doctor indeed because he is putting people out of there. Or I guess maybe he is a doctor because he's pulling the plug out of these opponents that he's going in there against. 30 years old, 9-2 record, 7 KOs, 2 submissions, and he's the heavy favorite at minus 320. Actually, minus 310 now on DraftKings. Might have changed because we're talking about it. But since his Dana White Contender Series in 2020, man, 4-2 record. Both of his losses being submissions. So I did think if Dirty Bird's going to do something, man, he's going to have to dive underwater. They're going to have to take a little swan dive and pull that fish from his terrain and get up out of there. All business. He's going to have to get a little funky chicken action here. But we'll see. You never know. That was my one asterisk. If Tim Means is going to mean business, he's going to have to find a way to probably get him out of there on the ground. But Uros Medic seems like a legit problem. So I'm leaning the Medic here, but I'll chase a little Dirty Bird. I mean, don't get it twisted. Dirty Bird, maybe by submission or just this fight to not sniff a scorecard. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that, if I'm being honest. And also, those odds aren't terrible. Under 2.5, minus 175, not too shabby at all. I like what Mad Max Meridian said. I had something else teed up or queued up. He said anesthesia in his fists. That's why they call him a doctor.
We missed out on a lot of good jokes. If he's a
doctor, he's definitely a surgeon because he goes out there and executes with surgical precision. And here's the thing, folks. The reason I say that is because he has 6 first-round finishes alone. And if you look at his actual record, the guy has a 100% finish rate. Win or lose, 100% finish rate. He's either out there, he's killing you or getting killed. So, that's just how he operates.
Hey, come on.
Bad joke. That's what you stand for.
Oh, man. Right? Well, I'm here to help nurse you back.
Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I love that. Let's go. Hey.
Come on.
Oh, man. Sorry, guys. I know you're probably running out of patience. Right? Patience? No? All right. Next time. Oh, man. Okay. So, yeah. Jumping into the breakdown here, Urosh, the Doctor Medic, coming in against Tim, the Dirty Bird Means. Bagak, you know what I'm saying? The Dirty Bird is definitely no stranger to adversity. He's also no stranger to getting into a good old-fashioned fist fight. As you so kindly pointed out, he has wins over Mike Perry, Nicholas Dalby, and Andre Fiallo. if you go even further back, he's fought the likes of Thiago Alves, Nico Price, Bilal Muhammad, Sabah Hamasi, John Doomsday Howard, Matt the Immortal Brown, Diego Lima, Neil Magny, Danny Castillo, Jorge Masvidal. I mean, the list goes on. Cody Pfister. I mean, he also kissed her. I don't know.
In my head, I'd say he did what?
He did what now? Cody did what now? Who did what? This is a family show. Cut it out. So here's the thing. I do think that Tim Means can get this done, and I honestly think that he will get this done. Why? Because as you pointed out so kindly here, Nano, the only 2 losses that the doctor has seen have come by way of surgical submission, right? He has 1 loss to Jalen Turner in the very first round via rear naked choke, and he has another loss most recently in his last fight to Miktabek Orolbai, who has a really cool hat, does Miktabek. So yeah, I think Tim Means is going to be able to come out here and get a submission. He does have 5 submission wins already. He also has 20 knockouts. I think he has sneaky good hands, and we've seen Euros start to fade. We've also never seen Euros go the distance. So I think that if this fight does go the distance, it's going to be Tim all fucking day. All day! Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do the dog parlay. I'm going to do the thing. We'll see if I add to it. But as of right now, we're sitting at plus 757 odds by way of an Austin Hubbard plus 145 and a Tim Means plus 250, both the money line. And, you know, 1 unit will get you 8.5. Pretty solid bet. If I do this, I might add 1 more to this. I might just keep it a 2-legger, but I'll probably end up doing like, you know, maybe like a half unit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The face Nano made would have went perfect with the Metal Gear sound alert.
I got plenty of them.
I got to get Nano one of the soundboards so he can cue up some sounds on his end too.
Hey.
Then we'll be really pumping along here. Moving into the next one, because you know who my pick's on, obviously, for that one. I love a good dog. Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. I'm actually really curious to hear your take on this one because this is a pretty odd fight, in my opinion. It's one of those that I do feel like could probably go either which way. And that seems to be the way that the odds makers and everyone else sees it too. Very, very slim difference here. Minus 170 for Jonathan Pierce, plus 142 for David Onama. Nano, do you have a favorite in this one? Are you picking any dog in this race?
It's a close one, right? It's a close one. I think you can make a case for both guys, whether you want to hedge it or if you wanted to lean one direction. I certainly wouldn't blame you. If this was a pure split toss-up pick 'em, I wouldn't argue at those odds at either, because I do think this one's really close. The more I broke it down, the more I got underneath the hood. Because at first glance, you want to take our boy Jonathan Pierce. He's a familiar face. He's really solidified himself as a guy here in the featherweight division. So certainly someone to keep an eye on here, ladies and gentlemen. Because since his Dana White Contender Series debut in 2019, he has gone 6-2 with only losses to the legend Joe Lauzon, and most recently Joanderson Brito, who is currently on a 4-fight win streak as well, proven to be an absolute dog also. So he does have all of the tools, in my opinion, to get it done. And I do think start to sniff, or at least contend potentially to linger maybe. One of my favorite covers most recently heard linger there in the top 15 conversation. Most certainly. He has a lot of great skills. 31 years old, just starting to get into his prime. 14 wins, 9 of them by KO, 2 subs, very high finish rate. But he's going up against the silent assassin. And it's the cat's out the bag, man. Okay. And it's very fitting. He seems very silent, very cool, calm, doesn't very incognito, very inconspicuous. Just seems like an average guy, like a Jeffrey, just a bloke down the street. Oh, who could be afraid of a Jeffrey? But no, David Onama, the silent assassin, you'd be surprised to hear he has a 100% finish rate. Okay, 29 years old, 11-2 record, 7 KO, 4 submissions. Dude's a problem. Okay, he's scary, and I know this because he beat up one of our good pals, Garrett Armfield. Okay, he beat up a friend. We don't appreciate that. We don't like that shit. Okay. Back in July 2022. He beat him. It happens. That's why Garrett's going to be champion soon, because he learned his lesson early. Not again. No more losses, okay? But 3-2 record since then. David Onama, very important fight for him. He needs this. He's fine out of Kansas City, Missouri. And he has a lot of great skills, but I'm going to lean Missouri. Thank you. I'm leaning my boy Jonathan Pierce, though. That Missouri just came out so nice. Missouri.
That was honestly absolutely incredible, man. Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? I actually had the pleasure of seeing David Onama fight live one time here in San Diego. He actually fought Nate the Train Landwehr.
He was on the train tracks, wasn't he?
And here we go. I'm waiting for the David Onama chant. David Onama. So I have to tell this story every time he fights, I think. There were 3 very, very drunk white men at the weigh-ins. And they were chanting, David Onama! Like almost falling over chanting. And,
wow, okay. An Onama chant,
Yeah, I was like, dude, these guys are hell into David Onama. And like Drew was out for the fights. And so we were talking about it. And I was like, bro, those guys definitely have money on Onama. Like so much money on Onama. And we went to the fights. We're sitting cage side. We're like, I think we were like between 4 to 6 rows back. Like we were really solid seats. A lot of fights fell off. We got really good deal on the tickets. Lo and behold, we're sitting maybe like 6 seats away from the Onama guys. And when they're walking up, David Onama! Like, dude, you can hear them in the arena over everybody in the arena. These guys
over the music, everything just fired up.
They're not like no. When I tell you they're drunk, that's actually a lie. They weren't drunk. They were shithoused. Like they were shithoused, bro. They were there. They went there. They came back. They made a T-shirt. They went back there again. And then they made an island there, and they've lived there now for a decade and a half.
Paid residency.
Chanting David Onama for the last 10 years. Some say if you grab a seashell, you actually put it to your, you can hear David Onama. But no, I digress. So that fight starts. David Onama knocks the hell out of Nate the Train. He goes down like a just brick house, like a sack of potatoes, really. And these guys all but pissed themselves. Like they are screaming, they are squealing. They revert to a child in the 1st grade seeing Santa show up for school pictures. Like they are squealing with joy. And the ref doesn't stop it. And then Nate gets up. And then he does the most epic shit ever. He dropped that dude like 3, maybe 4 times across the distance. And instead of following up, instead of finishing him with ground and pound, not Nate the Train. But he drops him. Instead of, he thinks about it, he turns around, he walks away from him towards the crowd with his hands up, literally yelling, "Are you not entertained?" Not paying attention to his opponent, giving him time to recover. Gets up, drops him again, does the same shit. They asked him after the fight, like, you had numerous times that you could have finished your opponent. Why didn't you finish your opponent? And he was like, man, you win the crowd, you win your freedom, or some shit like that. He literally quoted Gladiator. Like it was the craziest shit.
I love that.
But basically, every moment of that fight, other than the first maybe like minute, 10 seconds, the Onama dudes were literally dying inside. And you could just see them dying inside. It was
see
as
their
if
soul leaving their body.
That the person that came to class for school pictures was actually not Santa. They were really bummed out about that.
Very bummed out. Very bummed out.
Nate the Train, UFC. Take a look at that bicep. So
the
yeah.
Dog box in the backyard, baby. The dog box in the backyard,
baby. So I mean, David Onama, the silent assassin. He is really good, but you've seen him get finished before. Now, Jonathan Pierce he's a guy. He's a guy that's got a win over Makwan Amirkhani, who I'm actually a big fan of. Mr. Finland. He's also got a win over Darren the Damage Elkins. Tough to put away, which he didn't put him away. He got a unanimous decision, but still tough to get a win over too. He also got a win over C-Rod, which gives me the utmost respect for him, and just thoughts that he's probably going to be able to get this done, because Christian Rodriguez is an absolute beast. We're talking about the guy that beat Cameron Simon. We're talking about the guy that beat Isaac Dulgarian. We're talking about the guy that beat Raul Rosas Jr. We're talking about the guy that got beat by Jonathan Pierce. Jonathan Pierce goes out here all day and gets it done over the Silent Assassin. You put your shot on Onama, you're going to be taking a shot on Saturday, brother.
Not I.
Don't do it.
But the chant sounds fire, though. The David Onama. That's like perfectly.
Onama.
Just enough syllables. That's perfect.
Dude, they definitely practice in the mirror before they got shithoused. They had to.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I don't know how they would have had the coordination, because they were gone.
You'd be surprised what the body will do when the brain is not home. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? The light was on, but there was no one home.
No one was home. I love it. Losing to Medic, that is. Oh, yep. Yeah.
So, going into the next one, we have, I think I'm actually going to mispronounce this one here. We got Yonata Denise coming in against Austin Lane. This is a fight that we're not going to spend a ton of time talking about, folks. It's it's Austin Lane. We're talking about a guy who's come in here before. We've seen him come in, and we've seen him lose to people that have been out of the UFC for a very long time. If we're being honest, the guy probably could have and should have been cut himself. But for whatever reason, he is still an active member of the UFC. So here we are. What can we say? Curious to hear. Do you have a dog in this race at all, Nano?
It's an interesting one. Yeah, to your point, Austin Lane, who has one of the funniest pictures on SureDog. If y'all want to go and check it out there, by far epic one. Repping America, repping ice cold beers, almost repping nice ice cold Stone Cold Steve Austin-esque look that he has going on there. But yeah, repping Jacksonville, former defensive lineman. When you actually type in his name, that's the first thing that comes up. Not that he's in the MMA or UFC, but that he is or was a lineman for Jacksonville, representing Florida. And he's just a freak athlete, right? I think that in itself should tell you how elite he is when it comes to his athleticism. Certainly has the strength, certainly has the power to get the better of him. So I do think Austin does have much more to prove, or much more to improve on, I should say, from a skills perspective. Though he does have 12 wins, 11 KOs, 1 sub. That is a 100% finish rate. When you're a heavyweight and you have power, that's very likely to happen. But hey, man, this guy, Honata, I don't know if we're saying it right. I mean, that JH is a little unique. But hey, man, this is someone we're going to have to get used to saying his name, because we're going to be saying it more and more and more. Certainly next week on the recap, I'll be talking about how this new guy came out and just put a whooping on our boy Austin Lane. I say that because when I looked at his resume and just looked at the highlights on YouTube, it's very easy to tell. Okay, it doesn't take much. I don't care if it is a clipped up highlight tape, may not be full, pillar to post what he's going to be doing, but I see what he can do, and it is nice to watch. I mean, at any point there, he at 6'4", 255, so he's not a small heavyweight by any means. He's equally as big as our boy Austin Lane. He had a KO in his Dana White Contender Series debut. And man, I mean, the way that he was able to display his strong kickboxing background, again, talking about YouTube's on highlights, it's all I could see from him otherwise. But man, his ability to KO people moving backwards, his strong leg kicks, taking these heavyweights off their feet like a tabletop back in the day. It's a good old fashioned sweep. I like what I see from him. I think he has some great skills, and I do think this will be an outing for him to continue his 6 wins, 0 losses, 6 KOs. I think he'll be 7 for 7 here going against our boy Austin Lane. Probably TKO though. It'll probably be a stoppage. He'll have to get pulled off, our boy.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. If I had to bet, if I had a gun to my head here, I would definitely say Honata Diniz. He is fighting out of Brazil, so I think it would probably be like Honata. But yeah, I think he gets it done. Austin Lane, we've seen that he's a bit chinny before. We've seen him get knocked out numerous times here in the UFC. I mean, if I'm being honest, he got knocked out in the UFC. He got kicked out of the UFC, or rather in the Dana White's Contender Series. Strung together a number of wins over these other guys here that he fought. But look at the competition he was fighting, right? Every single one of those fights were also first round finishes. So every time he faces adversity, he tends to go down pretty hard. I think this is going to be no different. I think Honara Denise gets it done. And with that being said, it's probably just going to pole vault us right into a fight that I'm actually quite a bit more excited about, if I'm being honest with you. We got Karine Silva coming in against Ariane, the Queen of Violence, Lipski. This is one of the more fun fights on the fight card for me. Ariane Lipski, again, somebody I saw that same night at UFC San Diego live. Unfortunately, she did not get the win on that night. This night, I think, might be a little bit more evenly keeled for her, or evenly matched for that matter. Ariane Lipski, Queen of Violence. You want to see some really, really fun performances of hers? Go back and look at her old fights on like KSW. I mean, those fights were absolutely incredible. Very, very fun to watch. She fought folks like Silvana Gomez Juarez, Deanna Balbita. You know, you might recognize those names, right? Those are both UFC fighters. She fought them at KSW. Very, very fun fights. Now, she does have losses to a Molly McCann, a Joanne Calderwood, dropped the Calder, kept the wood, Joanne Wood, Antonina Shevchenko, Montana De La Rosa, Priscilla Cachoeira, which is who she lost to in San Diego. Now, again, what you might notice in those names is they're all basically top 15 level talent, right? She does have a win over a JJ Aldrich, a Melissa Gatto, Casey O'Neill, Mandy Boom, Luana Carolina. Her opponent in Karine Silva, killer from Brazil, she's been stringing it together a lot. She has not lost since coming to the UFC. Coming off of a win at Dana White's Contender Series over Ki Hui Yan. She got the guillotine choke in round 2, a minute and 44 seconds in, and then strung together 3 back-to-back wins in the UFC. First one via Darce choke in round 1. You know Mad Max Meridian in the chat had to be foaming over that one. Followed by a knee bar in round 1, minute 45 seconds in over Ketlin Souza. We just talked about her earlier, and we got her picked to win. What does that tell you? Again, Mad Max, you had to be happy to see that. And the next one, good old-fashioned Gilly. Don't be silly, jump the Gilly against Marina Maros. And that's the most recent one. So, I mean, I know if we talk to my guy, Mad Max Meridian, he's probably going Karine Silva. Me, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I got to bet on my favorite here. I really think that Ariane Lipski can and will get this done. I also think that I might just hedge it with the under. Take Ariane Lipski at dog odds plus 124 and the under at minus 166. I don't think that's a bad play. Maybe put a half unit, throw her onto a parlay or a little solo play. Put like a fifth of a unit on her at dog odds, and then maybe like a half a unit on the more favorable pick, and it just being an under. What do you think about that, Nano?
I like it, brother. I love this matchup. First and foremost, this is a really, really exciting matchup here. A lot of huge implications, as I like to say. Our girl, Ariane Lipski, Queen of Violence, man. She's somebody who is really starting to put it all together, right? She's been a staple in the division for a long time. You've seen her live in action. And since then, she's been on the 3-fight win streak as of lately. And the whooping she's been putting on these ladies is very impressive, man. Something that needs to not go unrecognized. We all need to just appreciate someone who, although she does have a 5-5 record, Ariane Lipski, and that's because, like you said, brother, never taken an easy fight. But man, persevering, getting better and better each and every year, learning all those lessons. At 30 years old now, 17-8 records, 6 KOs, 4 subs. Man, could not be doing any better going into this, and I cannot be feeling any better about her going into it. The unfortunate reality here, though, my brother, is that she got someone in front of her that, oh boy, she is a scary, scary girl. Oh my God. Sheesh. Karine Silva, 30 years old as well, 17-4 record. Surprisingly, just about as active as our girl Ariane Lipski. But there is one different. She knocks people out and submits them more often. She's got 9. She's got 8. 9 KOs, 8 subs. That is a 17 up, 17 knock 'em down. Okay? Knock 'em down. She's a savage, brother. 4-0 since entering the UFC Octagon. 8-0 over the last 5 years. That's what she says to all of her opponents. I mean, she looks strong. She, even just in terms of the metrics, just about similar size and everything, but she wears that weight much different. Curious to see how she looks during the cut and everything. But this is the biggest challenge by far in Karine Silva's career. And I would probably argue, man, Ariane Lipski, I mean, just as much for her. I mean, a lot is on the line for them both.
Oh, yeah.
But man, Karine Silva at this stage, and maybe your silver linings that you're getting her at a point where maybe she's not still fully developed, which is crazy. I mean, I can't even say that. That doesn't even feel right coming out of my mouth. It feels silly. They're both, I think, in their prime, and it's like, yo, these are 30
years of age, which is
they're
wild.
Both they're ready to go. So it's, I gotta go. I'm gonna go Karine Silva. I gotta go with my gut. And when I look at her body of work and literally her body and the work she does, it's hard for me to bet against her, man. She looks strong. And she's very well, very skilled, very well rounded. So it's like if it goes anywhere, it's like it boils down to those situations. And I think Karine Silva could find a way to get herself into those favorable positions, whether it's the quick athletic reversal, whether it's just switching the positioning and getting Ariane Lipski on the fence. And now you're in the you're controlling the wrist. You're getting some strikes in. Feel free to jump in or disagree or agree, but I think she'll win in those little situations as well.
So I agree. I think that if it gets into a dire scrambling situation, there are going to be times or flashes of brilliance for Karine Silva, but I don't think she's fought anybody with the Muay Thai prowess and the striking prowess of Ariane Lipski. I do think that when Karine Silva shoots in, sometimes she can just shoot in right on the center line. And when you're fighting a Muay Thai striker, it's a really easy way to catch a knee or very quick uppercut. So we've seen Ariane Lipski land things like that before. And she's looked better and better in these last 3 outings specifically. I think that this is going to be a showcase for either girl. Whichever one comes out there and gets the win on Saturday is going to be pole vaulted into the rankings. But if your shot's on Karine, give me a shot on Ariane, baby. I'm happy to play devil's avocado there.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Ariane Lipski in this one. Give me the queen of violence, folks. We got 2 more up and 2 more to put down here, guys. The co-main event of the evening. We got Ryan Superman Span coming in against Bogdan Guskov, a.k.a. Wish.com Anthony Smith. This one is going to be a really, really exciting one. After Ryan Span wakes up, he's a notably slow starter. Honestly, I'm always wondering if he's awake in the media day and the walk up to the cage and the pre-fight workouts and warm-ups. He typically just looks like he's half asleep out there. So if he shows up, if he's awake, if he's ready to go from the start, this should be a fairly competitive match. Coming in at 21-9 against Bogdan Guskov, standing at 15-3. This should be a really solid fight just based on styles, right? Superman is one of those guys that is very, very tricky. He looks like he's much slower than he is. He also kind of tricks you into thinking that he's not really that into the fight. Like I said, like he doesn't seem that into it. He's like, oh yeah, what's up, dude? I'm here. Let's go. And then he cracks you. And it's just absolutely fucking insane how hard he's able to crack you. So again, he just catches a lot of these people off guard. In fact, most of the people on Tapology have it going Span's way. So, I mean, that tells you, right? A lot of these folks are leaning towards him, as is Vegas. But I'm here to tell you, Bogdan definitely has a big chance here. Now, looking at his record, he is a finishing machine. He has 15 wins. He has 15 finishes. A lot of 100% finish rate folks on here, which is absolutely insane to me. Most recent win coming over Zach Pauga. Most recent loss coming from Volkan No Time Ozdemir. And he lost via rear naked choke. Now, do I think that Spann is going to go out there and get a crazy submission win? I would say no, but that's recency bias, right? We've seen him get knockouts more often than not more recently, or so it would seem. But if you go back and look, I mean, he's pretty live for a submission too. His two most recent wins, one was a submission, one was a knockout. So I'm curious to hear, like, do you have a favorite in this one? And do you have kind of a favorite path to victory for either one of these guys?
Yeah, I go back and forth, but I am going to lean Bogdan Guskov, aka the Walmart version of Anthony Smith. Not trying to think of a different knockoff brand here, but Walmart's pretty big. That could be a compliment. Who knows? That's nationwide. But yeah, I do think Bogdan, and I would take him probably by a TKO. I could see him putting him out, man. And my only question is, how high is his ceiling? How low is his floor? He is 1-1, he being Bogdan, since entering the UFC. But he does have that 100% finish rate, right? 15 wins, 13 KOs, 2 subs. And when you put on the tape, the dude has the awareness. He has the good IQ in there and the ability to put someone's lights out at that light heavyweight division that consistently. 15 up, 15 down. Again, another beast that we're talking about. That's impressive. Anyway, you slice. I don't care where you're doing it, even though it's not all in the UFC. That is still impressive to do it at that professional level. And with someone like Ryan Spann, brother, like you mentioned, I mean, this guy is a notorious slow starter. This guy is a second half player. He came into the UFC with a lot of hype. Quickly rose to the top. 5-0 win streak since his debut in 2018. But then that loss to Johnny Walker kind of exposed him a little bit. Then our boy Anthony Lionheart Smith showed him what a true lion looks like and showed him I'm the lion of the jungle here. Another 2-fight losing streak, and he lost to Anthony Smith again. That lion, brother, he's got the better of him. Lion and tigers and bears, oh my. So again, overall, Ryan Spann 8-4 record. I like this guy Bogdan, man. I'm taking the dog.
Well, God bless you. God bless you, my son, for taking the dog. We always love a good dog pick.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man, we love a good dog, as much as the next guy. And that's why I'm going to take the dog here too, man. I think he's going to get it done. Going to add him to the dog picks parlay as of right now. Got 4 folks on here. Now, these big dog parlays, we don't always think they're going to hit, right? That's why we put like a fifth of a unit on them. It's a crazy bet, right? So to put that into perspective, okay, a fifth of a unit will win you 10 units on this parlay. So that's why we do these, okay? Because if they hit, it's just money in the bank for a rainy day. We got Austin Hubbard at plus 145 dog odds. We got Tim Means, the dirty bird himself, at plus 250. We got Ariane, the queen of violence, coming in at plus 124. We got Bogdan Guskov, plus 164. And again, 1 unit will get you 10 units. Okay? 1 unit will get you 50 units. So a fifth of a unit will get you 10 units. So that's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to go ahead and do a fifth of a unit on this one. Jeez Louise. Mad Max in the chat. Good grief. Under 2.5 is minus 750. I almost want to put some money on the plus on that, or on the over on that. I mean, geez. Wait, the under 2.5 is minus. Oh, wait, what is the over 2.5 for us?
Let's see. We'll see what our DraftKings is saying.
Let's see. Over 2.5 is plus 400. Not terrible.
Yeah, under 1.5 is minus 270.
Might be
Which you might as well just
go like a half unit on the over 2.5.
Let's see if they have the.
Dude, how are you getting better odds than us on freaking Bovada right now, dude?
Oh, Bovada.
DraftKings, what are you doing?
I think they're a little more aggressive. Yeah, a little more aggressive. Fight to go the distance.
450 for the over right now.
Damn. To go the distance, no is minus 1100. 1100. First minute finish. That'd be kind of fun. Plus 350. That'd be crazy.
Those are fun. Those are definitely fun. Yeah, I might have to do an over on that one just for funsies. It's not bad. It's not a bad line to play. So guys, with that being said, I believe it's time.
It's time
For the main event of the evening, folks. That's right. We are here. We have made it. We got Mateos Nicolau coming in against Alex Perez, stepping up on short notice, fighting a very game flyweight in Mateos Nicolau. Nano, you got that main event shot poured up, brother?
Absolutely, brother. Let's stay stacked, my friend.
Let's do it. We stayed stacked. Let's
cheers.
Go. If you're drinking, do a shot with us. If you're not, take a sip of water. Stay hydrated, folks.
Thanks for being here. Cheers to y'all. Let's go. And I'll drink to our boy Mateos Nicolau for taking this fight as well. You know, a last minute change on a few weeks' notice. Also take a shot for our boy Alex Perez for saying, hey, I'll sign the dotted line and I will keep this fight night afloat. This is a fun one, man. I mean, listen, I'm leaning my boy Mateos Nicolau. I think this is his time. I think if he could go out there and get a dominant win, he should be next in line for that throne or that title contention fight. There's not a lot of people in front of him that are healthy or that have that clear path. So go get it, man. Go make yourself the obvious choice. But he's going to have a tough outing, right? Alex Perez is an absolute dog, 32 years old, just at 1 year older than a boy, Mateos, but he does have a lot of experience that he's bringing in here. Okay, 24-8 record, 5 KO, 7 subs. Alex Perez, man, is a vet in the division. He debuted back in 2017. So in those 7 years, he's been very active, 7-4 record. Fortunately, he is on that 3-fight losing streak. But again, he is a savage. He fights nobody but the best. He's still ranked 8th for a reason. And so even if he does suffer another loss here, although it'd be crazy to still have him ranked, that kind of just shows how funky this division is right now in terms of the rankings and how everything is currently laid out. But man, give me Mateos Nicolau. I loved everything I've seen from him. I think he does have the Goku tattoo as well, if I'm not mistaken, or some sort of DBZ representation. Gotta love that. Gotta root for those guys as well. He is 9-2 since entering the UFC back in 2015. So that is 9 years. Quite some time, man. And he's slowly poised himself, slowly got to this point where he's poised for a title shot, right? If he could get that dominant win, I think that'd be huge. Answer some of those question marks. Can he wrestle? Can he deal with a well-rounded game that Alex is going to bring forth this Saturday? We'll see. We'll see a lot of answers to be had. But and again, I mean, Nicholas is coming off the loss, right, against Brandon Royval, who's a dog, one of my favorite fighters in the division. Man, there's a lot. I'm curious to hear your take. I'm leaning my boy Mateos Nicolau, but do you think Alex Perez, the underdog, can come out here and shock the world?
Now here's the thing. Real quick, we appreciate you, Mad Max Meridian. He said in the chat here, solid episode, gents. Great breakdowns all around. I got to crash. Catch you fellas on the flip side. We appreciate you, brother. We will see you on the next one. Keep on going. Keep on growing, baby. Now, what I want to point out here real quick is this may be the best case scenario fight for both men. Now, there's a reason I'm saying that. I'm going to go ahead and present my screen real quick so I can show you a little something here. Now, share my screen. Share my entire screen. Check this out. This is Alex Perez's fight record as of late. Some seem a little bit off here, guys.
A lot of C's, a lot of gray, not a lot of color.
A little record scratch. Yeah, I'll do that again. Guys, there's a lot of issues here, right? More canceled fights than actual fights.
There's literally 10 on there.
There's literally 10 on there. Exactly. He's fought 4 times since 2020. So he's fought 4 times in a span of 4 years. Now,
whoa!
If you look at Mateos Nicolau, here's something crazy. You can see here, 2019. Okay, so we'll start at 2020. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's had 4 wins to the 4 fights of his opponent. Now you can't.
He's also had a few canceled as well. How the hell this might be cursed.
This is an interesting fight. It's a very interesting fight that was made, man. Yeah, I mean, part of me like wishes there was a set of odds on like the over under of this fight actually happening. As there should be with every Alex Perez fight. Like, no offense, but he's had so many health issues and issues pulling out of fights. I would not be surprised if this ended up being another one of those. Right? Currently has a UFC record of 6-4. His opponent has a UFC record of 7-2. Fairly close on the stratosphere of kind of where their trajectories line up in their careers right now. Gun to my head, give me Mateus Nicolau. I think he does get it done. I don't think Alex is good enough to beat him in this one. I'm staying away from it on a betting perspective. I don't think I'll be putting in any bets on this one. Might throw together the little private DraftKings Yumi versus Mad Max. 5-5-5, keep it alive. Winner take all. The big haul. But yeah, I mean, call me crazy. I think my big bet of the night is going to be, excuse me, the 4-dog pick, the 4 horsemen of apocalypse here. Austin Hubbard, plus 145. Tim Means, plus 250. Oriani Lipsky, the queen of violence, plus 124. And Bogdan Guskov, plus 164. Hate to bet against Superman being, I have a Superman tattoo. But I digress. We're putting a fifth of a unit on this, and that will net me 10 units for a fifth of a unit, you guys. Yeah.
I like it.
Very happy with it, man. I'm very happy with it. So yeah, fifth of a unit to win 10. Nano, do you have any bets on this card, or are we going to keep it pretty low key this week?
Man, I didn't have anything prepared, but like I mentioned earlier, I think Bogdan was an underdog I certainly liked. Might maybe throw a little bit, sprinkle maybe half a uni on Bogdan. I do like him against Ryan Spann. Other than that, some of the odds were tough, right? Like I did think Tim Means versus Euros Medic was one that's really exciting to watch, that I think would love to try to put a little something on, but not that juicy of a odd maker. So I don't know. I think I'll probably stay away from it for the most part. Just maybe put on my viewership hat. I do think I'm actually going to be able to retreat all day Saturday, so I don't even think I'll be able to actually watch it myself. So for that as well, probably won't have too much.
Yeah, you'll probably miss it.
Yeah, I'll probably end up having to rewatch it in preparation for the episode next week. But I do like Bogdan as an underdog. That's one that sticks out. Our boy Hubbard, like you mentioned, I think you're already kind of covering those bases. Yeah, and then, again, my other underdog's Karina Silva. Or actually, I don't know if she's technically an underdog, but that's the other one that I don't even feel great from a betting perspective, but love that matchup. A few that I'm really excited about here, brother. This is going to be a good card.
It is going to be a very, very good card, man. I think we're going to have a lot of exciting fights on this card. I also found some more exciting odds, if I'm being real with you here. Tim Means to win by submission, which Euros' only 2 losses are by submission. Plus 1,800.
Ooh, that's juicy. I like that.
For a one picker, one unit nets you 19 units, guys.
Oh my gosh.
I think I might put 1 unit on that. Candidly. That might be
Tim Means, man, the dirty bird. Medic is legit though. I gotta go back and watch him.
Either a unit or a half unit. Medic is good, but I've seen him gas in his last 2 fights.
True.
And Tim's not the one, bro. He's not the one to do that. Yeah, there's some good odds. You said you thought are you thinking Onama gets pieced up or no?
Ooh, pieced up's tough, man, right? Because he can do anything can happen in there, but I think Jonathan Pierce can win. Yeah, I do like that pick. I do like Jonathan Pierce.
If you got Jonathan Pierce to win, let's see what the double chance victory are.
To win by finish.
Jonathan Pierce to win by finish is plus 180.
Not too shams.
Not bad. That's not bad. Lipsky to win by TKO, KO, DQ, or submission. So inside the distance is plus 250 as well. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The other one that I was looking at there was another one that was ridiculous that I saw. Hold on. Method of victory. Where Where is it at? Karine. How did you think Karine gets it done?
She's been getting a lot of submissions. But
plus 240 on submission right now.
Yeah.
And plus 350 on TKO or DQ or KO. So there's some really juicy odds. I think another juicy set is the submission for Ariane Lipski. She's got a really nice knee bar and other really sneaky submissions, and that's a plus 900 line.
Yeah. That's a good call, brother.
That's not.
I like where your head's at. That's what we're about, finding the good bets.
Bad one.
Gotta find the good bets, baby.
You gotta find the good bets on this. You gotta find the good bets, guys. So yeah, that's gonna be my plays. We will put together a graphic today or tomorrow, hopefully, and I'll get that posted up on the Instagram as well as on the Twitter. Guys, gals, everybody, fight fans of all shapes and sizes, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you turning up, and hanging out. We appreciate you hitting us with a like, a comment, a subscribe, and smashing that bell for notifications after the episode. And we also just appreciate you smiling and having a good fucking day. So as we like to say here on the program, every day, every week, every episode, we really, really hope that you guys keep on going, keep on growing. And until the next episode, see you then.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.